Today I fucked up by telling my 3-year-old daughter that I would eat her booty. Alright, so let's start this with a little context, because right off the bat reading the title you'll be like WTF. So my wife and 3-year-old daughter play tag pretty much on a daily. And more accurately, it's more of a chase me game. My daughter never chases back when caught. Anyways, the game usually starts by my daughter telling my wife, "Mommy, get my booty. Get my booty, mom," and off to the races they go. Obviously this is a game that both parents play, and she also usually requests that we be a dinosaur, monster, tiger, etc. This get my booty thing is also something she says at daycare now when playing with friends, but luckily everyone thinks it's cute and we haven't gotten any feedback on it. This brings us to last night. The wife is upstairs with our little boy giving him a bath when my daughter jumps on the couch, puts her butt right next to my face and yells, "Get my booty, daddy." To which I reply nonchalantly, "I'm going to eat your booty." Nom nom nom, since her butt was right next to my face. I immediately regret it because she jumps off the couch and starts yelling, "Eat my booty, daddy. Eat my booty," and takes off running. Dear Lord, what have I done? I try to go into damage control and revert back to get your booty, but it's too late. Eat my booty is the new tag. I took her to daycare this morning. I hope she forgot all about it. I'm dreading picking her up. Too long didn't read. My daughter yells, "Get my booty," to initiate games of tag. With her jumping on the couch and shaking her butt right next to my face, I instead say, "I'm going to eat your booty." She now yells, "Eat my booty," to initiate the game instead. Edit, a word. Also thanks for the gold, kind stranger. There were lots of requests for an update after pickup. All is well, even played the chase me game at daycare while picking her up. Thanks to everyone that shared their own stories. They were hilarious and me and the wife really enjoyed them. For those that got offended, sorry. None of it was intended and I thought it was a funny anecdote to share. Cheers. Haha. It happens, don't feel too bad about it. Kids say the darndest things. My daughter calls boo-boos or injuries boobies. Naturally, this results in some pretty embarrassing moments in public. Falls and gets hurt / turns to me crying and says, "Daddy, kiss my boobie." LOL, I'm sorry but this is hilarious. You may get questioned at pickup time. When my son was 4, hubby and I took him to the drive-in movie theater, you know. The kind that plays 2 movies back to back while you sit in your car. Well, the second movie started late, plus it was PG-13, so we made it a cool thing, laid the seat down and set up a fort with blankets, pillows, books, etc. So he could sleep while we watched the second one. He thought it was the greatest thing in the entire world. So when he went to pre-K that Monday and teacher asked how his weekend was, he exclaimed, "Mommy had me sleep in the trunk this weekend." And, of course, I got questioned. They had to verify my drive-in story with him, and he did say it was during a movie, but oh my god, it was mortifying. Best of luck, booty eater smile. Yeah, I sometimes have weird conversations with my 3.5-year-old son. Recently he saw me naked while I was getting changed and he asked why my weenie was bigger than his. I explained that I'm older and bigger, so my weenie is bigger too. But he wouldn't drop it. He kept asking if his will look like mine when he's older. Then I realized I just had a 5-minute conversation comparing dick sizes with a 3-year-old. How did your wife react to this? She laughed her ass off. Kids at that age think stuff like that is funny. And I'm pretty sure if your daycare is worth anything, they'll know kids say the weirdest things. You'll be okay. Haha. I sure hope so. I'm just picturing being called into the principal's office with her shaking her head at me. Like, what did you do? Today I fucked up by giving my wife a facial in front of my stepdaughter. Still processing this one since it took place about 5 hours ago. Me, 45M, and my wife, 47F, have been married for about 5 years and have a combined family. Most of our kids are half-time with us and half-time with their other parents. Anyway, my 20-year stepdaughter's room is just down the hall from the master bedroom. About 6 weeks ago, she started sleepwalking and wakes, standing in random places. She even woke up in the kennel with our dog once. Yes, I know it's super strange. Because my wife and I are trying not to scar the kids, we wait until they are all asleep before we have sexy times. Many times this means we go to sleep and then wake each other up in the middle of the night for sexy time. Last night was one of those nights. When we went to bed, between 8 and 9 because we get up at 4 AM to work out, kids were still up and milling around, so we figured we'd wait until the middle of the night, or have a quickie before we went to the gym. A few hours later I wake to a stiffy pressed up against my wife's backside and decide it's game time. Within a couple of minutes we are deeply into it, and a few minutes later we know it's about time for the grand finale. My wife breathlessly tells me the words that every man around the planet loves to hear: "I want to finish you with my mouth." I practically jumped off the bed and stand there as my wife gets on her knees to give me a toe-curling BJ. I am going to interrupt this story for a moment to give another little factoid. My wife was a single mom to 4 girls for many years prior to meeting and then marrying me. Her and her daughters are pretty immodest around the house. I'm constantly asking them to put shorts or sweats on. Anyway, there I am standing naked beside my bed. My wife is on her knees, sucking my soul out through my dick. My eyes are closed, my head is back, and I'm just about to release when I get that weird feeling that I'm being watched. I open my eyes and see my 20-year stepdaughter standing 3 feet behind her mom in a tank top and panties. I reflexively pulled back from my wife's mouth, which caused her to grab extra hard. The next thing I know, I'm spraying my load all over her face while I'm looking directly into my stepdaughter's eyes. My wife is trying to be playful and thinks I'm just feeling kinky, and I was just trying to cover myself. My stepdaughter just stands there for what seemed like an eternity before saying "holy shit" over and walking out of our room and back to hers. Of course, as soon as my wife heard her daughter's voice, she became much less playful and everything got deadly serious. So now I've gone to the gym, I'm sitting at my desk working, and my wife has been in talking with her daughter for the past couple of hours. Honestly, my only fuck up was the timing. But it did happen today, so there is that. Too long didn't read. My wife and I had middle of the night sexy time. Sleepwalking stepdaughter walked into the room and watched me frost my wife like a cake. Follow up: they are done talking, came out of the room laughing and stuff, so I guess no harm no foul. My wife said the 3 of us should sit down later and talk about what happened, and that her daughter has some questions. Edit: to all those wondering why I added the part about how my stepdaughters dress. At the time I was worried that my wife was going to be thinking I was a freak for nutting as soon as I saw her daughter in her panties. That didn't happen at all. When I mentioned it to my wife, she waved it off. If I were to write this post now, I would leave it out, but it was important to my mindset at the time. Edit: people are claiming that it's been deleted, but I still see it and haven't tried to delete it. Anyhow, I just tagged it as NSFW, something I should have done in the beginning, but I didn't know. Maybe that fixes things. I'm enjoying some of you funny sick people. Edit: well, we just had an hour-plus conversation. My stepdaughter was just wanting to clear the air. She was a lot more mature about it than I thought she would be. She asked a couple of questions about how often is normal and stuff like that. I don't want to get too specific, but all of her questions centered around how far my wife and I pushed each other's boundaries sexually. We were open and honest with her about it. Turns out she is not a virgin. I am actually surprised, and the first guy she was with was very pushy. The guy she's with now is very laid back, but maybe too laid back. We told her to be vocal with him about what she wants. I think she understands, but my wife is going to follow up on the conversation later. BTW, she did not even realize what was going on at first. All she saw was that I was standing there naked. It was when I saw her and started to freak out that she understood what was going on. My wife and I have already stripped the bed and are washing the sheets and comforter. I am shampooing the carpet this afternoon, and there are spots on the wall that need to be washed. My wife found some of my material in her hair. At work she sent me this pic. I got back on here and this post is at almost 10K and my inbox is screaming for mercy. I'll try to answer as many questions as possible. Okay, I'm disabling inbox replies. I can't believe that my, by far, most upvoted post is about my wife and I nearly emotionally scaring my stepdaughter. Be well, everybody. She has questions. That definitely sounds like a porn plot, especially with your follow-up. Edit, thank you kind stranger for my first gold. I'd like to thank my parents and everyone who supported me along my journey. Same thought. Questions? Like what lol? Like a 20-year-old doesn't already know the answers to all these questions. So the kid is 20 years old and her mother has been staying with her talking for a couple hours. A 20-year-old kid should just be embarrassed and it should be NBD in a couple days. For all I know they are sitting in there laughing about it. Who knows? Let us know what her questions are. Deleted. I just want to know how big your dog is. I have Great Danes, that your stepdaughter woke up standing in the dog kennel. First thing I read was I just want to know how big your dong is. Today I fucked up by getting in my ex-girlfriend's new boyfriend's car. So this actually happened about a week and a half ago. Some pre-knowledge. I dated my next door neighbor for about a year and a half, but then we eventually broke up. So the other day I was really hungry and wanted some Panda Express orange chicken. I texted my friend to see if he wanted to go get some panda with me and he replied sure, but that he wanted to drive because he had gotten a new car and wanted to surprise me with it. I was like alright, sounds good brother, see you in a bit. A couple minutes later a car rolls up in front of my house. So naturally I went out and got in thinking that it was my friend. I got in and buckled and was ready to go when the driver looked over and said, you're not my girlfriend. Quickly I looked up and realized, oh god, I am in my ex-girlfriend's new boyfriend's car. I started to unbuckle and get out. I opened the door and heard a thunk. Now I'm thinking to myself, oh god, I just hit the door against the curb, but when I looked up it turns out I actually hit my ex with the door. Quickly I apologized and got out and waited for my friend inside my house. Too long didn't read, I got in my ex-girlfriend's new boyfriend's car thinking that it was my friend. Then when I got out I hit her with the door. I don't know what would be worse, hitting the door against the curb or hitting the girlfriend. I honestly don't know which I would prefer. You're not my girlfriend. Buy me lunch, and we'll see what happens. I'm not gonna lie man, that's absolutely hilarious and wild how that all came together perfectly for this to happen. Yeah, I guess if you date your next door neighbor then something like this is eventually bound to happen. Especially if you have the worst luck like me. Once I was stationed in Okinawa, Japan. This was in the 90s. Every car was white and looked exactly the same. I'm a girl and it was my time of the month and I was getting ready for PT, physical training. I jump into my friend's car to head down to the field and I start babbling about my period, and how gross it is and the clots and the farts, and I turn my head. And I realize I am in some random sergeant's car, and he is looking absolutely horrified. No, I need to know what happened next. You didn't die of embarrassment, so you did much better in that situation than I would have. Anything happen? Did she message you later having a go at you? Yeah, her exact words were, you have brought being stupid to a whole new level. This kind of stupidity is the reason we broke up. My reply was just, well, you shouldn't have been standing there,